Joining us tonight to discuss the race for the White House and some other issues is our local Republican congressman and House Majority Whip Kevin McCarthy. Thanks for being with us tonight.
Thanks for having me.
You're busy in Washington as always. What do you make of this Republican primary race?
All primaries always get heated, and you're getting towards the end of it, so it's always a sign when someone's behind, they bring up the most negative ads you can. That's probably what they're seeing.
Yeah, and this latest issue with Mitt Romney about when he was a venture capitalist and very successful at going in, taking over businesses and retooling them, and of course a lot of jobs get lost in that process. He's taken a lot of heat here in the last few days, and he had a lot of success in turning those businesses around. Do you think that'll damage him at all going forward?
I think if the argument's about the free market, it won't damage him. Because the idea that if a company was going broke and he retooled it, created more jobs, especially in the long run, instead of being all shut down. But you can it's fine to look at someone's background, but for another Republican to attack somebody by the idea of a free market, those are the arguments that come from Democrats. I just don't see why you bring them up as a Republican.
Do you think he might be faring better because a lot of these questions have been asked before, when he ran before?
It's better. I mean, I always think it's better if the primary goes on longer, bring up everything that you want to bring up, and let the voters vote on it. Because once you vote on the issue, you make a decision, whether it was a big deal or not. Other people will fall. The times of a primary is to test candidates. And as you've watched, there's been other candidates rise and fall. He's been able to sustain himself. That's why he's still able to be in the game.
And he's got a tougher fight this week in South Carolina, obviously, than he had in New Hampshire. If he wins down there, is it over?
Well, we changed the rules because it's not winner take all in all these, so he won't have enough delegates.
I mean, from a momentum standpoint, and
if this is a sporting event, who has the best conditioning? A much bigger team. I mean, if Perry and Newt aren't qualified for even to be on the Virginia ballot, that's a little hard to win when you're not even on the ballot. So having a structure will matter, and each race after each race will show that, and you'll get an advantage greater as it goes.
Real quickly, we want to ask about high-speed rail. We just learned today that the CEO of the High-Speed Rail Commission resigned.
It's another sign why it should not be built.
You've been a long-standing opponent to this. We've heard about legislation going to ask voters if they want to rescind the funding for it. Do you think voters will change their mind and rescind that funding?
Well, what has happened since it came before the voters is different. It's almost 3 times as expensive. It's 10 years longer. It's not going to make it from the numbers of what you see. Even it's only per review said don't go sell the bonds. I think if you want to be honest, you should go back and bring it back before the voters because the plan is totally different. And I think the voters have a right to it. More importantly, you should not move forward right now because the numbers don't add up. They say if you take everyone who rides Amtrak all across the country, there'll be 2 times as many people ride this high-speed rail. It doesn't even go all the way up and down California. San Diego doesn't even have the ability to ride it. If a person in California today, or in the United States, takes a first-class train ticket and Amtrak across the country, all the taxpayers subsidize that ticket. It'll be the same thing with the high-speed rail. You'll have to subsidize that. We're already in debt in California. We shouldn't cut education more to try to build a high-speed rail. If it is valuable, the private sector should come in. You know, in Mojave, they're going to space. It's no government money. It's private sector money, and that's a risk. That's a better investment than this high-speed rail.
All right. You're consistent on your approach there. All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.